What will happen with stadiums and theaters when Mashiach will come? It's an interesting discussion, interesting Gemara, Masechta Megillat Avava Amud Aleph. The Gemara discusses what will happen with the houses of worship of Avodah Zarah when Mashiach will come. And according to one interpretation, the Gemara also discusses what will happen with stadiums and theaters, or places where people come together to drink wine and party when Mashiach will come. And the Gemara says that they will be used in the future for Sarei Yehuda, for ministers of Yehuda, which is a reference to Talmidei Chachamim, to teach Torah for the Jewish people. Particularly, it's talking about the theaters and stadiums in Edom, which could either be the country near Eretz Yisrael with the name Edom, or it could be a general term for Rome, for non-Jewish civilization, that will be transformed to places where Jewish people will learn Torah. The question is, are we going to use stadiums and theaters for these purposes? Won't we have shuls and batei midrashos that we will have when Mashiach will come? Why are we going to have to teach Torah in those places? So there's a few interesting interpretations given by a number of sages throughout the generations. One interpretation is that this shows the idea of ishapcha, transforming darkness to light, the same places which before were used for sports and other things which didn't necessarily increase people's observance of Yiddishkeit, of humanity, will be transformed into a place of learning Torah. There's another interesting idea that some Mefarshim point out, which is that sports and theaters were places where people flocked to. They spent a lot of money in order to spend their time watching the show. When Mashiach will come, that enthusiasm, that passion that was used for coming to watch the games and sports will be transformed into a passion for coming to learn Torah, to hear Torah. We will understand and feel that the greatest pleasure in the world is to come and learn Torah. So people will flock to the stadiums, not to watch sports. Nobody will be interested in watching sports. The world will be filled with knowledge of Hashem. So people will be, if there'll be a place to teach Torah, where are we going to teach Torah? Everyone is going to want to hear Torah, so they'll flock to stadiums to learn and hear Torah. There's also an interesting point that some poskim speak about, Tosfos speaks about it. According to one interpretation of the Gemara, even the houses of worship, of idol worship, that were used during the time of exile, where non-Jews worshipped idols, will be transformed to places that they will learn Torah. And this involves a halachic question, if that's permissible or not, but that's not relevant for our discussion now. But regardless of the halachic question of how that is permissible, the question is, why would it be done in such a way? We know that even if it's permissible to use a house of worship that was used by Goyim for a place of learning Torah for a shul, but there's nothing unique about that place. If anything, it's a place that's small, so it might be this, it might be disrespectful to that should be our first choice of where we should teach Torah to other people. But here too, some explain this is the idea of ishapcha. The point is that we want to take those places which were the lowest places where people were worshipping idols and worshipping a religion other than the true religion, and that place itself should be used to teach Torah. Some people explain it doesn't necessarily mean that they will learn Torah, but it means that this will be a place that the Goyim will learn about the Sheva Mitzvahs. They'll learn about the true faith, the same place that they used to worship, would come to worship other religions. They will come and they will learn about the true religion, about how they should worship the Eibishter. The Eibishter should help, that we should merit to see the coming of Mashiach take off miyat mamish.